What's going on? What's going on? So we're just gonna give people a few more minutes to jump in, but it's conversations with me. So I do this on Saturdays where I just kind of reach out and I talk to you guys and see how you guys are doing, um, because that's what it's all about. Just connecting with you guys and getting a chance to kind of just answer questions and talk about some things outside of me just always playing. So what's going on? Hello from India. That's what's up. What's up? So I definitely want to do this um, to just really connect with you guys. So that's the reason why I'm doing this, and just to kind of just answer questions that you guys may have. Because I mean, there's a lot of times that when I'm playing or I'm teaching, especially on my channel, you don't get a chance to necessarily ask me in real time. So what's going on? Good morning, love from Michigan. What's up? So I definitely want to like take this opportunity to kind of like connect with you guys to talk about anything that's music related. It might be about guitar, it might be about like a concept, it might be something that you're struggling with, trying to figure out how to do what's up. So love from Minnesota, that's what's up. North Carolina, good deal. So yeah. So if you can ask me a question or we can chat about what's good, just let me know. What's up from Memphis, Naptown? What's good? What's good? St. Louis in the house. What's up? It's good to see you guys taking out time on Saturday. We just they hang out for a little bit, so that's really cool. Love from LA. That's what's up, Philly. Who are your influences on guitar? So Jubu Smith is one of my huge influence. Eric Walls, Tim Stewart. I take some stuff from Agape, some stuff from JMO, some stuff from Kevin Wilson, some stuff from Eric Johnson. There are a lot of different guitar players who I like to, take influence and, who influenced my playing over the years. Kerry, do you know about pickup music? Yes. Wish you will put some master classes on there. Yeah, I'm good friends with Sam. I did one master class on there. I did like a lick kind of situation, whatever. So, we'll see what happens. You never know. Good morning from Oaktown. Yeah. Tobago in the house. What's up? What's up? Jubu, yeah, Jubu is the man, man. Eric Walls. Those guys are like um huge influences of mine. I remember like a couple years ago, I used to play this place called GS Lounge in LA, and Jubu, his band Legally Blind was like playing. Like we opened up for them. He used my guitar one gig, and he used my amp for the next situation. So that's really dope to have him do that. Eric Walls put me on a lot of gigs. Eric Walls is like a big brother to me, a big homie. When I first moved to LA, my pedal board like just went. It crapped out on me. He helped me put my pedal board together. He just told me to come by after one of his rehearsals and help me put it together. Didn't charge me nothing. So like, yeah, Eric Walls is like a huge, big influence and a big bro for me. You know what I'm saying? So, what's up from Norway? That's what's up. Maryland in the house. So yeah, how do you connect chords and scales? So I practice with like, let's say I'm practicing with the major scale. Let's say I'm in G, right? So I know that my first note when I do the number system, I know my root has to be a major chord, right? My 2 has to be a minor. My 3 has to be minor. My 4 has to be major. My 5 has to be major. We get into voices after that. My 6 has to be minor. My 7 usually is minor. And my 8, which is back to an octave of 1. So when I think about visualizing that, I'm like, okay, cool. When I do my scales, I practice doing that, the scale with the chord. That's how I practice connecting, like making sure like I can play the chord with the scale. And then what I do is I'm trying to memorize the number system at the same time. So I'm able to make it make sense. So if I say 1, I'll just call out. If I may say 3, I know it's a minor chord. 4, 5, 6. So like for your church people, like I just play like I can't give up now. It's like, I don't think just using the numbers. So you can use the numbers to help kind of guide you and dictate like how you go about playing various things. Always great, but you never answer my question. Did I do something wrong? What's your question? Said I love how you do a jam or tutorial on Rocking You Eternally by Leon Ware. I'll add it to the list. I have a lot of songs that like get added to the list for me to kind of teach and like whatever. So I'll add it to the list. So I'll put that on the list. It says been working on my R&B using Kerry's camp. It's really helping me a lot. Cool, cool. But I just got a church gig playing quartet. It says mostly. It says have any clues what to look for? So if you go to I think it's like the Gospel Guitar Guide in Kerry's camp, it'll definitely help you out. It'll give you like all the resources that you need as far as like helping you to play at church. So that's kind of a cool thing. Do you always determine the key by the 1, 4, and 5? No, I don't determine the key by the 1, 4, and 5. Because usually by the progression, like you don't know. So I'm always determining by the root note. So if I hear like various notes that are called out, so let's just say if I hear like a A, in an F, in a D, in an E, I know from based upon those notes, I have to be in the key of C. So what I do when I'm drawing in that scale, I know that I'm gonna hear A in that scale. That's the 6. That's the 4. That's the 2. That's the 3. So I'm able to like know from I'm doing this for so long and actually can visualize and see like when I see various notes that are called out, it lets me know like those are like benchmarks for me to know that I have to be in this key because these are these notes that I'm hearing in that song or in that progression that fall into that particular key. Do you ever play the minor scale? No, I never play the minor scale because in my years of experience and having to play along, I realized that the minor scale nobody really uses that. It's really only like the major scale that people are using that are associated to kind of use the same format and formula whenever I'm teaching or I'm playing. So I don't make it confusing for myself when I have to play or when I'm teaching for other people. I always refer everything to the major scale. It's the easiest and the way to understand the format and the formula. Philly's in the house. What's up, Kerry? Thanks for being here. No problem, no problem. Old school dude from Maryland. Appreciate it, man. Greg, what's up? Any other questions? I want to definitely like talk to you guys. How do you get over writer's block? So what I do if I'm having a moment where I feel like I'm plateauing, I'm getting writer's block, what I'll do is I usually go on Spotify or maybe go on YouTube and I may type in a specific genre, like all the songs from this era, like R&B songs from 2018 and just go through and scroll until something inspires me, or pop songs from 2020 or pop songs from 2019 and listen to like, oh, okay, cool. Like something will inspire you and invoke you to be like, okay, cool. This is how I'll get over writer's block. All right, next question. Ever played a Collins guitar? Like when I went to NAMM, I tried them out, but I've never like owned one to play one. How do you follow a preacher? That's also in the Gospel Guitar Guide. For those who are 18 years old or younger, ask your parents, but for those who are 18 years or older, go to kerryscamp.com. That's KERRYSKAMP.com. And there's a whole Gospel Guitar Guide that shows you about how you play behind a preacher. So 9 times out of 10, I'm usually going to do this kind of chord, like a sus chord. And I'm sizzling, and I sizzle. When I say sizzling, I'm rumbling on the string. And I do that kind of like pentatonic kind of movement. And I go to the 4, and I go to the 5. That chord will save your life. That whole like, it's really like, technically it's like a G, an A over G. and I add my pinky just to go on that high E string. And you can put that in any key. So let's say he's preaching in the key of G, right? Let's say he goes all the way up to B. So it's like a call and response kind of game that you have to say. So, and you'd be like, like you're trying to do like a whole call and response kind of thing. Like you're not trying to match everything that he's saying, but you're trying to like give it like it's like a conversation that he's having, right? So that's how if I was doing preacher chords, that's what I would do. I'm telling you, like I got a whole course that's laid out specifically for people that play at church that have to play behind a guitar player. A great thing to do too is also listen to a lot of quartet songs. Like the Williams brothers have this one song where they talk about an old man and a goat or a donkey or something like that. Well, anyway, it's like he's like that whole song facilitates kind of like how a preacher like preaches especially in a lot of black churches. If you want to play behind a preacher, that's a great song to kind of practice that whole call and response kind of thing behind. All right, let me go and where can I go to get the chords that you use? If you want to go get the chords that I use, go to kerryscamp.com. I'm gonna have a whole video chord library that shows you exactly what I'm playing, what chords I use, and also call out the name. So it's a great tool. It's KerrysCamp.com, and go look at the video chord library. Do you use the major scale but think in the relative minor? So I use the relative minor in order to give me like options of where I can solo, so I can know where to go for my minor pentatonic if I'm having struggles, if I'm struggling in how to solo. Yes. Tell everyone that's asking about your gospel to get yours, because you have helped out a lot of. True, yeah. So like if you're struggling with gospel, if you're a gospel player, I tell you, like, go get the gospel guitar guide. And in the gospel guitar guide, it doesn't matter if you play at a small storefront church or a mega church. I have tools in there that are gonna help you, equip you with like how to play gospel music. If you're playing CCM, if you're playing like straight ahead gospel, I go into detail and showing you guys how to do that, how to really play. Because gospel is a unique genre that you have to be very sensitive and hear and like know how to play a lot of stuff. So it's a lot of good stuff. Do you make sample loops for us producers? So if you're a producer and you want me to make like a sample loop for you, or like guitar loops, just email me, Kerry2smooth, just like my handle, @gmail.com, and then I'll let you know my rates. But yeah, I do that. For those that don't know, like I produce as well. So I just put out, the artist that I work with, Grace Weber, just put out an EP. And so songs 2, 3, 4 are the songs that I help produce on. So you can hear my playing, you hear my production, you can hear different stuff. And I've played for a lot of different people, and I've also produced for a lot of different people. Let's go back and see. How should I learn guitar? How should I learn to play vocals on a guitar? You just loop the lyrics, find out what the lyrics are, and then play the lyrics. That's the best way to play. Okay. It says we did that one. It says how to substitute chords so it won't get boring. Is that the using inversions? Yes, it's using inversions. Also, too, it's about changing the voicing. What I tell for people who are at that place, or whatever, like learning how to play like a C minor chord all over the neck of the guitar. Like, so if I know a C minor is right here. Like learning the inversions, learning the different voices is definitely going to help you how to not make something that sounds so boring that you've been doing your whole entire time. But then the trick of it comes is like learning to practice with those different inversions. So you don't wait until the last minute to be like, oh, I'm bored, let me try an inversion now, just because I know where that chord is supposed to go. It may not fit, the voicing may not feel right. So you want to make sure that you're getting it in the right place. So I would say practice using it before, so that way like it doesn't feel like it's in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? That's something I would tell you to focus on and think about. with sore hands after a heavy practice. So if you got sore hands after heavy practice, man, I would tell you you could definitely want to massage them, definitely like stretch them out, and then maybe get some lotion or whatever, and like just kind of like massage them, like work them through whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I could tell you. What's the best thing to do? What are chord voicings, right? So chord voicings is just how the chord sounds. So if we're playing a C major, right? That's like an open cowboy chord, right? That's still a C, but now the voicing of it changed. Like instead of like, na, 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 those are all voicings. It's the same chord, but it's augmented a little differently. You know what I mean? Changed a little differently. I got Kerry's camp, and I've seen improvement in my playing. Now I'm learning exactly what to practice and improve. Definitely worth it. Oh man, that's what's up. That's what's up. I've been enjoying your playing the guitar for years, and I've really enjoyed listening with you and your suggestions. It says I try to share this with my grandson who's trying to learn now. That's awesome. You may have touched on this already, but it helps me to know, did you start off, hold on, did you start off very hard for you at first? Yeah, when I first started learning how to play, man, it was difficult. I was not good. Like I need people to understand that. Like it's taken years for me to get to the level that I'm at because I didn't have all the resources like that are available now. Like I didn't have a solid teacher. There was no website like that I have now. Everything was, you know, you got to get it on the fly. So yeah, I wasn't very good. I only knew a couple chords. I knew like A minor, I knew F, and I knew G. So it was like very limiting in like what I could play. So I had to learn how to figure things out on my own. So it was a struggle for me for a very long time. I didn't really learn about bar chords until later on. I didn't learn about hammer-ons, double stop movements, and understanding like, you know, the number system and all that stuff until later on. So it was definitely a challenge for me when I first started. Now there's a lot of different resources like myself. Like there's a lot of different teachers, especially on YouTube, but I pride myself in and have built a site. And as you can see, like there are various people that are commenting that talk about like the diligence and the dedication and the attention to detail in order to give you guys concise lessons. That's what I have that I didn't have when I first started learning how to play. So I feel like there's definitely an advantage now versus when I tried to learn like years and years ago. You just have to be diligent to like, you know, I can give you the information, but if you don't apply it, it's still not going to be to any avail. You know what I mean? So, all right, Kerry, I have a hard time from open to bar chords. I have no problem switching open chords like G, C, D, E, but I struggle switching open bar chords in the progression. So what I would practice doing if you're having a problem like switching between open and bar chords, like literally just get like two chords that you practice, an open chord, and then practice going to the next bar chord. So just practice those two. Until you can get that fluidity between those two and then add a third chord. That's what I would tell you to do. All right, next thing. How do you play faster solos? Get a metronome and practice taking it super slow. Keep it super slow. The thing is you have to get it underneath your hands, and if it's not underneath your hands, it's gonna be hard for you in order to speed it up. You just can't speed it up and play it like super dirty. You wanna play it like super clean. And what I mean by that is making sure that people can understand the articulation of what you're trying to say with your instrument and not just speed through it for the sake of playing fast. Like, so keep it super slow, get it underneath your hands, and then just increase the speed with the metronome till you get it up to the desired speed that's like beneficial. You have a hard time with bar chords. just something that'll come with practice, right? Right, yeah. So it'll come with practice because you're asking your hands to do something that they have never done. So it's going to be hard and difficult to play bar chords if you've never done it. Also, too, you would want to look at the action of the guitar, right? So you can see that my action is like super close. So it's not hard for me to push the strings down in order to make it make sense, right? It's not hard for me to push it down. So you may want to adjust the actions on your guitar so that way you can lower it. It'll be easier for you to do. But like it's a new concept. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time to be like, okay, cool. I'm learning a new concept. I'm not going to get it right off the bat. It may have been easier for me to learn how to do this, but now it's a little bit more challenging. Just take a deep breath, practice, give yourself some grace. It's gonna happen eventually. It says, let me go back through it. Are your websites teachings more in depth and explained in your YouTube channel? Yes, because YouTube is more like a sample size. If you've ever been inside of a grocery store like Costco, Sam's, Walmart, or whatever, and they give you like kind of a sample, it's like to let you know if you like it or not. The lessons that are on my website are way more in depth. We do a deep dive in order to make sure that you get it. And there's so many like different features that are on the website that allow you to really like understand. Like you can bookmark your stuff, you can search for specific lessons, you can really put your hands in the stuff that we're teaching versus like YouTube. YouTube is kind of like, I just want to give you like an idea of what my teaching would be like, but we do an even more deeper dive and it's more in depth because I want to make sure that you get it. All right. It says just got on Kerry's camp, definitely worth the investment. If for those looking for to improve in the guitar skills. So there's people that are like, giving you guys feedback, letting you know that like Kerry's camp is definitely worth it. How would you teach someone who stopped? How would you teach someone to shop for a guitar? What to look for? It depends on what level they're at. So if they're just a beginner, I would say like a good acoustic guitar or a cheaper electric guitar would be beneficial. If you're intermediate, then we may want to think about like, depending on our budget, like what are we investing in? And if we're at advanced level, then we want to start thinking about woods. We want to start thinking about like, okay, tonal wise with the pickups, what are we looking for? So there's a lot of different concepts. I can't just give you like a broad general, like, if you want to shop for a guitar, I need to know exactly what level that you feel you're at. I need to know what budget that you have so that way we can find something that fits within that, all of those different things. Because buying guitar is like buying a car. I can't just be like, oh, you just go get a car, make sure it runs. That's a little generic. If your budget is like 60 grand, then I'd be like, yo, let's look at a BMW. But if your budget is only like maybe 19, I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe let's look at a Toyota or look at a Chevy or something like that. Let's try to get you the most bang for your buck. So you just got to ask yourself, what level are you at when it comes to like buying a guitar? Intermediate below $1,000. So I would say, in my opinion, I would say look at like getting a Mexican Strat, find something that feels really comfortable, and then I would upgrade the pickups. That's what I would do. I would upgrade and find like pickups from a higher end company that sounds really good. Like you have Lambertones, you got Lawler, you got a lot of different pickups that you can listen to, and I would get the pickups changed. But find a guitar that feels good in your hands, so that way you can save money in that aspect and not spend so much on a super nice guitar, because you have to think about taxes, you have to think about all these other aspects like a gig bag, buying like if you're getting an amp, kind of cables, if you're getting pedals, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes along with it that you want to think about over time. That you don't want to like spend all of your hard-earned money on a guitar. Some people might say getting a PRS CE model. That might be, something that you look at. Like you may want to think about getting something that's used. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. So you just got to really ask yourself, what's that? Taxes for real. HSS. So I feel like if you're going to get an HSS model, I'm a huge fan of like, I think LSL makes a great one. Sir makes a great one. Fender, it's not ideal. I would say if you got a Fender one, just gut it. Like get new pickups. Like I got Lambertones pickups in both of my HSS, and I feel like it just took those guitars on a whole new level. Now those were both boutique guitars, but I felt like just the sound quality wasn't really giving me what I was looking for. So the pickups, me changing out the pickups, definitely took those guitars on a new level for me. You know what I mean? Let's go back and answer some of these questions. I've started with a Squire Strat too. Like, I mean, my first guitar that I had in high school was a Squire Strat. It was a great guitar. It was a great guitar. All right, let me go back through, make sure I'm not getting all these. Okay. Would I suggest Kerry's Camp for someone who just picked up the guitar? Yes. The thing about Kerry's Camp is it's meant and it was designed for people who are at a beginner level all the way to advanced. It helps all guitarists out. It's not just for those who are like advanced, whatever. I teach from beginner guitar, if you're basic, if you don't know how to buy a guitar, I teach you how to buy it, what to look for, all the way to advanced. I teach you how to practice everything. So yes, it's definitely designed for those. What's up, Lee from Arlington, Texas? I play gospel music. Can you incorporate R&B gospel? I have a beginner R&B guitar course and gospel course, also great stuff. Yes, you can incorporate R&B with gospel. It's all about how you phrase the chords. That's what it's all about. It's all about phrasing the chords. If you can phrase it, it can definitely fit. That's, I mean, one of the things that I pride myself that I've done for years. Can you play Fair Play by Keanu Lede? Yeah, so I'll play it for you guys real quick. Let me see. Fair Play. So, let me get that real quick. 1 second. Forgive me, my tripod actually wants to like be retarded for a minute, so sorry. Oh, come on, stand up. All right, so this is Fair Play by Keanu Lede. So. All right, that's Fair Play. Cool. Let's go back and answer some of these questions. I just want to say that this is a great way to interact with those wanting to one-on-one. Sweet, sweet. Y'all, since he's been playing too, can we get those likes up? We got to support. Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks for hosting this Q&A. All right. Any advice on practicing and applying triads, just as far as practicing circles up and down the neck of the guitar? So this is what I would say. If you're going to practice triads, right? So a triad is just like, it's just a regular chord, right? So this is what I tell people all the time. If you're going to practice triads, practice the concept in learning a song, right? So I use a lot of basic triads, right? So I would use it in the concept that I'm trying to learn how to incorporate. So I would find a song that I could use that triad. So I'm in the key of C, right? So I would practice a concept that would allow me to practice that triad. And the thing is, you don't need a whole bunch of triads, you just need a few. If you know how to place them properly, that's all you need, because you're not gonna do a whole song that's based on triads. So like when I'm playing, that whole concept, I use that triad movement so many times in so many different variations that it sounds like, oh my God, he's got a whole repertoire. The thing about triads is you can't use them in everything, but if you place them in the right situations, it's going to make your playing sound so much more full. So like learning the concept of just doing that one basic triad. Sorry about that. My guitar is out of tune. I was like, man, that sounds funny. All right, cool. Kerry, please see this. I bought a Boss M80 after your effects. What settings do you use it on? All right, so if you want to know what effects that I use it on, like I did a whole course on, it's mainly for my students. Like I try to give enough information on YouTube, but then I give like the exclusive information for my students. I have a whole course that's set up on my website. So kerryscamp.com that talks about, I show you specifically what I'm using, how I use it effectively, all my settings and everything. Ultimate question though, pick or fingers? It depends. Now, if I'm playing electric, for the most part, I'm using a pick. If I'm playing acoustic, then I'll tend to use my fingers. You said you did Grace Weber's EP tracks, 2, 3, and 4. Yes. So she just dropped the EP yesterday. So I did tracks 2, 3, and 4. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to go back through and read all these questions, so I just want to make sure I'm getting. All right, it says, hey, bro, will you be at the Musician Summit in September in Durham, North Carolina? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen in September. I can't say that I will or won't, so I'm not sure. We'll see. Ideals to start a pedal board. So if you're going to start a pedal board, I say these are the pedals that you need. You need a tuner. You need a reverb pedal. You need a overdrive pedal. And you need a delay pedal. I would say those are like some basic general pedals that you need to kind of start out with. I feel like those would be some good pedals to kind of start out with. Also, if you're new to this channel, you haven't subscribed, man, go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up, man. You know, I'm trying to like nail down 100,000. I'm close. I need your help. I'm trying to get there. Best amp for R&B on a budget. What is the budget though? Because like what you say on a budget, my budget might be different. Mine wise, I might say like on a budget is like 9,000. I mean not 9,000, but like 1,000 or 900. I don't know. So like let me know what your budget is, and I can kind of like point you in the right direction. 800. All right. So I would say like maybe looking at a Fender like DeVille. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a good R&B amp on a budget. Yep. Deluxe reverb could be cool. Reverb, echo pedal, anything are the same. It says reverb or echo pedal. Are they the same? No, they're not the same. Reverb and echo pedals are completely different. If not, what's the difference? Which would you prefer? I would need both. Echo pedal is like a delay. So if I said, wow, it would be like, wow, wow, wow. Reverb just fills the room. It's like it makes the guitar sound wet and lush. You know, they have different types of reverb. You have different types of delay pedals. I would say you need both. Yeah, I would definitely say dabbling with the Quilter amp. It depends on your budget. You know what I mean? Quilter has some really good stuff. It's a solid state amp. It's not tube, so it just depends on what you're looking for. What I was trying to say is that I have your R&B gospel course and your gospel course. Oh, great. Trying to focus more on the gospel side. Sweet, definitely. Yeah, if you focus on the gospel side, man, it's really going to help you. I think, in my opinion, most of the players that are really solid players in the industry have a bit of church background. They've played in church. Those are probably like some of the best guitar players that I know. What gauge do you use in your acoustic? I use 11s on my acoustic. On my electric, I use 10s. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to go back through and get most of these questions. I saw your rehearsal that you were dancing and playing guitar. That was cool. Yeah, it was the hardest thing that I've ever done, honestly, because most gigs, they just tell you like move, but we had a choreographer for like, that wanted us to move a certain kind of way. And it's like, it felt like my movements were kind of going against the timing of when I was having to play certain chords and certain licks. That was probably the most challenging rehearsal that I've had for 6 hours. Probably the most challenging that I've ever had. So Yeah, you never know. I'm your mentor in your head. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Listen, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, just to be somebody's mentor. Says, do you use a looper when you practice? No, I don't. Usually, what I do is like if I'm practicing, and let's say I have like Logic up, then I'll set a looper on. So I may like loop some chords, some kind of chord progressions, but I don't normally practice with a looper. I used to have one years ago, and I realized that I never used it. Like so, I just discarded it on my pedal board. All right, let's go back to the top because I think I missed some stuff, and I'm trying to grab as much stuff as I possibly can. Yo, yo, yo. Cool. What's up? Thanks, big home people in the house. Man, I'm just seeing so much love, man, and I appreciate you guys so much, seriously, for taking out time and just like, spending time with me on these Saturdays and just going through and we just talking guitar and I'm just sharing some information. So I really appreciate you guys for doing that. Um, Also, like I said, if you're brand new to this channel, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. I'm trying to get them subscriptions up. I'm trying to crack 100,000. So I need y'all help. I know y'all can do it. I know y'all can help me out. Also, if you guys are on social media, if you're on Instagram, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting stuff on Instagram. It's at Kerry2Smooth. So it's just like the same as my YouTube handle. It's the same. So follow me on YouTube as well. When did you start playing guitar? I started playing guitar when I was 11. So, it's damn near 30 years ago. Before you play guitar, you play drums or keys. I played drums, but everybody in church growing up, everybody started out as a drummer. And I just realized I wasn't that good of a drummer. I was never going to get a chance to play drums. And nobody really wanted to play guitar. So I kind of like gravitated. I was always, in my heart, I always wanted to play guitar. But then it was just like, okay, drums is not gonna work out. So I started gravitating towards more on guitar side. What age did you turn pro? I got out of the army when I was 26? I think that's when I want to say that like a couple years after that. So maybe like 27, 28. I'm a late bloomer for most people that start out becoming pro. Most guys that I know like start out when they're like what, 17, 18, right at 20, 21, 24. I was a late bloomer compared to a lot of my peers. You know what I mean? Do you plug in directly from your pedal board to your interface when you record? Yes, I plug in directly. Kerry, what are the must-tos if you want to make a living out of the music industry? You gotta have good people skills. If you're a horrible person, but you're super talented, nobody's gonna call you for the gig. You're on stage for maybe an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, the most, max, depending on 3 or more. But you're on a tour bus like for a long period of time, and people are not gonna work with you if you are a butthole. It's just not gonna happen. So you have to have good people skills, network. You got to learn to look the part. It's traveling when you go to the gig, when you're on the gig, like your swag has got to be unmatched. That means your luggage has got to look together. You can't look like a pig pen. Your equipment needs to look together. You just got to be overall, you got to be tight overall together. Certain gigs require you to have like certain images. You got to make sure that you fall within those guidelines, and realize that this is a business that like, yeah, there are family environments, but like at the end of the day, the artist can decide to go a different direction. And then you just got to be able to like have good skills to adapt to whatever situations. Even when you do backlining, you say like, oh, I booked this amp and they don't have this particular amp. Not to throw like a huge tantrum and be like, I'm not playing if they don't have this. Like just sometimes you got to learn how to go with the flow because depending on the different situations or festivals, they may not have it. So it's just one of those situations where you just got to learn to be cool throughout the whole situation. I would say that's one of the biggest keys that I see from a lot of people that don't know how to make adjustments on the fly or go with the flow, that struggle in this industry. And you got to have the chops. You got to be able to play. One of the things about being in the industry is you spend your whole career trying to like play this masterful thing, and you get on stage, and sometimes you only play a few chords. You have to be okay with that, but you got to have all of that in order to get the audition to land the gig. And then when you get the gig, sometimes they modify what you play and how you play. You just got to understand that like you have to be learn how to be a role player and understand like my role. This is what I had to do in order to facilitate being on this squad, and this is all they're asking of me to do. Now, if they ask me to do more, yeah, I can dig in my bag and do more. So it's just about being as proficient as possible when it comes to those kind of things. What's the most intense rehearsal environment you've been in? The ones where like my first call for Jason Derulo, it was just me and the guitar player that I was filling in for. The MD called me, who was the guitar player as well. He was like, "Yo, I can't do this gig." My first gig in Morocco, it was a 14-hour rehearsal. He sent me like the music like the day before. It felt like it was like a million songs. Probably like because Jason's catalog was intense, maybe like a good 20 songs that I had to learn how to play within 14 hours and then hop on a plane. So that was probably the most intense rehearsal because I got big shoes to fill. I'm not just subbing for the guitar player, but the guitarist is the MD. So I was like, I got to kill this. And it's in Morocco, and we're playing in front of 150,000, and he's the headliner. So it's like, it's a lot of pressure. So that's probably one of the most intense rehearsals that I've ever been a part of. It says, how should I practice technique versus practice songwriting? How should you practice technique? I would say focus on the areas that you're weak. Songwriting comes when your technique is really sharp. I feel like if your technique is really sharp, it'll be easier for you to do songwriting. Because songwriting is really just picking out a key that you're comfortable in and then picking the chords that are from the scale that you feel that will match well together. If you hear melody in your head, like picking those chords out and playing those chords together so that melody works. That's what I would do. Can you explain? Can you make a rig breakdown video and explain your rig setup, etc.? Once the pandemic kind of like dissipates, I can kind of give you a couple of those. I've done a couple of different kind of setups where I talked about my all-in-ones versus my stump boxes. I've kind of done that, and I talk about different amps. I got a couple things out that are already on YouTube. I think I was out with Lettucey. I did one a long time ago, so I got a couple of things out there already. Have you ever played with Jonathan Dubose? Yes, I've played with Jonathan Dubose. I met him at the Guitar Summit. I think he's phenomenal. He's one of my influences as well. I should have said that at the beginning. I forgot to mention Jonathan Dubose is like one of my influences as well. Like he is the gospel guitar guy. He is that guy. And behind him is Rick Wofford. Like those two guys are like phenomenal. So yeah, phenomenal guys. All right, I'm gonna take one more question and then I'm gonna get ready to sign out. All right, it says, what haven't you done in the music industry that you still want to accomplish? All right, that'll be my last question, which is a good one. I guess one of my big things that I always wanted to do was like that I haven't done is I haven't played for Chris Brown. That's one of the artists that I would want to play for, or D'Angelo. And then I think or win a Grammy. I haven't won a Grammy. I would love to win a Grammy. Yeah, I'll play for those particular artists, win a Grammy. And then, maybe one day, like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say Berkeley reached out to me and was like, yo, we'd love to have you as a teacher. I think that would be like a phenomenal thing to teach at Berkeley. That would be cool. Like, I think that would be cool. All right. Well, enjoy your Saturday. I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying, for hanging out with me for like almost an hour, man. I appreciate y'all so much. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so and click the notification bell because I will be hopping on here time in and time out, just maybe hopping on, doing a quick lesson or so, whatever. I think that is the best way to stay connected. Also, too, if you're looking to do an even deeper dive, you love the way I teach, you want to learn even more, if you're 18 years or younger, ask your parents before you go to the website. But the website is kerryscamp.com. That is KERRYSKAMP.com. Where I'm talking about like we peel it back. We really peel everything back. We get down to the roots of everything in order to make sure you're more proficient as a guitar player. So y'all have a good one. Enjoy your Saturday, man. Stay safe. Like I said, I know they open up a lot of different states or whatever, you know, slowly but surely, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I don't know what phase, man, it's so confusing. But just be safe, man. You know what I'm saying? If you need to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you got to wear gloves, wear gloves. Just whatever you got to do in order to be safe, man. Be safe. I look forward to seeing you guys next Saturday. All right, man. Y'all love, peace, and hair grease. Y'all stay great.